So we are hosting a World Changer Wisdom Circle party here. I'm here together with Lanie Smith, and we got inspired to expand a recent play shop that we did with world changing authors to actually go deeper and to really create an impact for everybody watching, for everybody present, to really re-spark all of our leadership powers that we already have inside of us. So I am going, Lainey is messaging in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you, Lainey, for sharing and for that keyword. So as you are all watching this and listen to my introduction, as you're inspired to share it along with your tribe, anybody you feel could use leadership, re-sparking positive vibes, especially in those times. And I'm going to, okay. Are you good? I had an echo for a second.
Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, anybody who can use this positive vibe of accessing our powers through the feel good energy of joy. Because this is what Lainey and I are both all about. Lainey uses a lot of creativity. I use a lot of the joy frequency. Is literally, we don't have to work hard and plow through things. We're all about making things feel like a celebration and like a party, and access our big magic and leadership powers from there. So anybody you know who can use that, share it with them, invite them to the live stream. We will get to all comments as long as we're tagged and can somehow see it. And all the leaders that we have live here on the call will also be able to respond. So you get a lot of leadership talent in the room that will share their wisdom as well. So here's what we're going to do. We are having a magical symposium of play here with other magical leaders, and we are here to re-spark your leadership energy and light up your tribe. We're here to help you contribute your magic and be seen in your brilliance so you can really bring your magic to the world with your purpose business. We are here to help you make amazing connections to other world changer queens and kings, as Jim will join us as, as the one king. We are here to light up you and your tribe, if you feel like sharing it with your tribe, with an amazing party. And you get to simply show up with us to play. So we will have some creativity play prompts with colors. If you have anything around you, it can be super simple, like crayons or even like one color pens. It doesn't matter, but we will inspire you in a conversation to really activate your leadership power. Lady, before I go and introduce everybody, beginning with us quickly, like, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, thanks for that. Because I want to say, one, even the color piece is optional, right? Like we can create with anything and everything that we have, even just our own bodies is plenty. So don't let that be a deterrent. Also, I just want to say how amazing it is that all of you made it and how easy it was, in terms of flow coming together. Like I was so lit up last week when we decided to do this. In like less than 24 hours we had a full panel of experts and badass powerhouses. And I think to myself, all the people in the world that are um, sometimes doing it the hard way, in terms of like summits that get put together. And there's a lot that goes into that, and a ton of organizing and a lot of structure, and it's just super super linear in a sense. And while that works, a lot of times I've seen some of the even summits that I've been a part of have been stressful for the organizers. So I just want to say mad props to all of you for being curious and showing up when you really didn't even know what you're showing up for, because I think that's such a superpower to live in that state of curiosity. And that's what Astrid and I are so about, is making sure that that childlike wonder stays a part of the work that we do, so that we're constantly living in a state of creativity, walking our talk, and getting to, yeah, just carry that message forward. So I just want to say thank you all for your curiosity. So passing the mic.
Yay. Yes, thank you so much, Lanie. Yes, yes, yes to all of that. And thank you for supporting me in that, Lanie. I was actually walking in the forest and we were texting back and forth just a little bit, super lightly, as we were sharing and getting everybody on board. It was pretty amazing. I was walking in sunshine. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start introducing everybody before we get rolling with actual play parts and play prompts, where all of you guys will get to share your wisdom as you are present here with us as panelists. So I'm going to start with Lanie as my co-host here. So Lanie Smith is a retired art therapist turned creativity abundance coach with more than 7 years of entrepreneur success running a group therapy consulting practice. She has guided dozens. I'm actually gonna go freestyle here in the introduction, because Lanie is one of my dear close coaching friends who is super amazing. She's in my book a badass, where she can call you out on your bullshit, but doing it with love and power and really holding space for you to activate your leadership energy if you're not fully in touch with it. And one of her superpowers is doing this through creativity and through space and to feeling amazing and like being very aware of inner mind chatter. Magical mind has been a thing that you've used. So Lanie also wrote a book, Solid Gold. What's the full title, Lanie? You say it. Please.
Solid Gold. It's the Raw and Messy Spiritual Playbook for transforming your fear and living a life you love.
Yes, perfect. So we will play with Lanie's book, will be one of the play inspiration prompts for this call today. And I'm also bringing my 2 books in the making, and intuitively we will play what comes through. And so Lanie, do you want to say a few words about me before I introduce everybody?
Yes, I just recently gave Astrid the new title of Spiritual Playgirl because she is all about play, but she also has this depth to her that I feel like when you're in her near and dear circles, you get to see that depth. And so it's been really important for me to make sure that she owns that superpower of her depth as well and to share that broadly. So she and I have had amazing, what has it been, a couple of years now of collaborations and play in the sense of writing our books at the same time. There's lots of synchronicities and resonance in the work that we do. And so we have both have that love for creativity. And Astrid's superpowers are really, really amazing at spotting the bullshit, as she said the same thing about me, but she does it in the lightest and easiest way that I do believe that's your way of loving as well. So it's incredible to share this space with you. And for those people too, wanting to get their message out into the world and to write your books, she was incredibly helpful in that process for me.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Lanie, for all the magical waterfall of words. Thank you so much. And Jale just joined us as well. And so I'm officially going to introduce everybody. And I'm going to go with first list down intuitively freestyle introductions. So the first people to join us on this magical call were Lisa Meisels and Donna Berger, who are actually business partners together. Thanks for waving. I love that. Perfect. Donna Berger is a spiritual manifesting mentor and ascension guide. Lisa Meisels is a clarity and alignment catalyst, and they are both international leaders in manifesting spirituality and in business. Together, they intuitively guide heart-centered entrepreneurs who are on a spiritual path to enjoy a fun, high vibe, and magical journey to quantum leap their success, impact, and prosperity. Val Cripps, hey, waves to California. I'm so excited to have you in this space with us. Like, I've never actually been in a room with Val, but I've seen you in the online world. So Val, she guides cosmic leaders to rebirth pain into lit soul power to 3x income impact and joy within days. That's pretty freaking badass as well. I love it. Welcome. Natalie Foster, she is skipping today, so yes, we are sending her love. She had a time alignment, misalignment, something, which always is to highest benefit, of course, so some magic is happening in her world. Natalie Foster is also a beacon of light. that was present in energy here. Jale, who just joined the call, she is a founder and chief trainer for the Leadership Design Training Program, which empowers every service-driven leader and their team members to train, integrate, and embody their own leadership style and work as a united team with all of the other leadership styles to elevate the culture, sustainability of the organization. She helps leaders stay in alignment so they don't burn out from the work that lights them up. And Jale is somebody that I've personally also worked with. She helped me to spot my leadership gems and claim my leadership power. And she's an inspiration to me in many ways. Super soulful and sweet. I'm so happy to have you here, Jale. Woo! Thank you. From Portugal, she's joining us. Lanie, do you want to play ping pong and pick some other introductions, or do you want me to roll forward? Not sure what you have on your screen.
I'm going to let you roll forward.
All right.
Gotcha.
Close. No problem. Sounds awesome. So Beth Wellington, she's an author that I recently met who has several books out there and already new ones in the making. She writes fiction and has two romance novels on Amazon and a third one with an editor. She teaches courses at City College of San Francisco on how to self-publish and on sparking creativity. Her current project is a children's holiday fairy tale, which she's about to shop for an editor to publish through traditional channels. Welcome, Beth. Good to have you too. Melissa. I'm so happy to see you here as leader lady. I'm super proud of you and excited to have you. So she's a dope ass therapist and your non-monogamous friend and coach. She shares her sex positive professional experience and her raw personal intimacy experiences to inspire others to create their own bold and pleasurable relationships. And I'm going to add their leadership power because it all comes from inside, right? Like for all of us. So you access that through that for people and with people and for yourself. Welcome, Melissa. Super happy to have you. Lewis, also dear to my heart. I love how many friends I have here and colleagues and coaches. It's such an amazing soulful party. So Lewis is an amazing artist and spiritual psychic artist and medium. And I actually have a painting from her on the wall, on the other wall that you don't see here, but it's amazing. So she has drawn over 1,000 spirit guides and also offers commissioned art pieces that become energetic connections to the spirit guides for the people who own the painting. Through her spirit guide coaching program, her one-on-one coaching, and her magical art, Lewis lights up the way for clients to help them heal and get clarity so they can embody their full potential of who they are meant to be. And so Lewis, welcome, and I'm excited. You have also some cool things coming out, and we will actually share a moment as we will close the call. All of the magic that everybody is putting to the planet right now, it's going to be a sharing moment of magic where everybody can mention their really cool things that you're all working on as well. Madeline Eno has also been in my world in a magical way. Is helping me birth my book. Hi, Madeline. She helps creative, mission-driven entrepreneurs remember what they are here to say and to discover the most compelling, joyful container in which to say it. So she helps in retreats and book mapping sessions to discover the soul and meaning of the stories that people want to birth onto the planet, and is a wordsmith, alchemist, cheerleader, handholder, editor, and intuitive guide. I shortcutted that bio a little bit. Super magical to have you, Madeline. Thank you for being here. Jim Kellner, let me double check, like we don't have him present, so he might be on the way. I will introduce him as he comes on. And let me see, the list is done, but Joanna, I will introduce Joanna because I accidentally hit yes, because Joanna's also a leader and I don't believe in accidents. So Joanna, I will freestyle that because I know you, and or maybe actually Lanie, do you want to introduce her because I met her through you?
Sure. So, and I don't know, Joanna, you're welcome to come on screen if that feels good to you, and no pressure. But Joanna is quite the powerhouse. She's, oh good, she's co-host now. So yeah, she's a very deep and soulful, and at the same time, I feel almost inclined to let Joanna introduce herself. So I can say the things I said about her being a powerhouse and being quite the magician, and working with people deep on a deep level who want to improve their relationship to their body and health, especially around the area of getting rid of toxic beliefs that create inflammation. But I will pass the baton should you want to add to that, Joanna.
Thank you, Lanie and Astrid. Um, I think I think you pretty much said it, Lanie. I'm a former nurse, so I came into the coaching world kind of under the health umbrella and have just dove head first into what it really means to be fully healthy. And I especially like working with other helpers and healers and helping them work through the energetic leaks or blocks or really what's at the core of kind of the toxic energy they might be running through and help them shift beliefs around that.
Beautiful.
Love it. I love it. Awesome.
Astrid, I know we have lots of great things up our sleeve that we don't even know about yet because we roll intuitively and we'll see what wants to come through. But I do believe, are we ready to dive into desires?
Yes, I am going to mute. Okay, perfect. Just a little bit of background noise. I caught it. Yay. Yes, so we want to start off and get your own writing utensils ready. Everybody on the call, everybody watching the replay, this is a first play prompt to pretty much get you going and reactivate your leadership energy. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your desire for your own leadership? Like, what would you love to amplify or solve or experience as walk away from this call?
And I just want to tweak that a tad
Yes.
and say that you can do this in more of a traditional way where you write it out and journal that response, or you can tap into a little bit of intuition and non-linear and put it into a shape, a color, a gesture. If you're wanting to use your body, like I'm on my bouncing ball and I very much feel connected, that is connected to my desire. So let this be a creative form, whether you want to use words or not use words at all. You can do it however you feel guided.
Yes. And as a summary, the question can be in your own words, but in essence, like, what is your desire for your own leadership right now? What would you love to shift, tweak, claim? And tune into that for one moment. And all of you guys who are present with us, you can use a chat to type in there, and we will share from there. We will open the mic in a little bit for other play prompts. Let's give it like one more minute maybe, and it doesn't have to be a super long thing. State your desires for yourself with clarity. I'm actually going to use two colors. Three colors came through. Awesome. I'm going to pass the ball to Lanie whenever you feel ready. So I feel you had a tweak or a next question for that.
I don't for that particular question. I
Okay,
thought
cool.
it would be great to, I love that you said pass the ball because I'm on this bounce today. I feel like it would be great to hear from everyone what their desires
Yes.
are, and then we start to play with it from there.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Lanie. That's awesome. So you guys can use that chat right now to put anything that came up for you, and And we do that here, and all of you watching us live as we stream on Facebook everywhere, post in the comments, and sharing means activating. So you activate your desires by stating them to the world. I want to share mine here real quick. It's like super simple, a few words from me. My desire in terms of leadership is to claim my desires with love and clarity. And that has actually been a thing of like being aware of the subtle moments when I'm not fully claiming my desire and looking towards what is coming at me. And just looking at that before really claiming my own desires. And that has been a big one that I actually integrated a bunch this morning. And then I picked some colors intuitively that actually energetically represent those energies for me. This is love and power, magic, and goddess energy.
And it looks like we do have some comments. I'm going to put Lois's in for everyone. And we've got Shondell as watcher. My desire for leadership is to inspire action from myself and others.
Nice.
Yeah, really in that energy of action. And then Lois said, lead the way to your spirit guide team through art mediumship.
Beautiful. And I saw Anna put a comment in from Germany, and she said she saw a fire for herself. Leadership fire is beautiful.
Yeah, I actually felt related to the fire piece because as I was bouncing, I felt this like, idea of bouncing into the next level of visibility. I feel like I've already been visible in my business, but as I kind of pivot my business out of the therapy world and fully into the coaching world, because I had been straddling both worlds for quite some time, that I want to really own my power and instant truth and continue sharing that in bigger ways, you know, as I said, more visibility. So,
I love it. I love it. You're such a great role model in instant truth, Lanie. We've played in different playgrounds with that. I love that you're actually saying that and claim. And it's funny, we did another call like last year where we both had a playground of claiming that. And I love that you're here now and totally in that space and totally rocking it. We have a few more messages that I want to acknowledge. Val Cripps says, to fully embody leadership in love and divine inspiration as I receive each miracle of forgiveness and surrender to abundance and joy, bliss vibrations, we are so co-creating together. I read so creating. Awesome. And Joanna says she saw an image of an explosion. I take that to mean blow things up. I love it. Desire to speak truth in all areas of my life and see that as blowing up and shattering paradigms. Yes, yes. And I've seen you already do that, Joanna. Yes. And Jolly is speaking in the comments here that my desire for leading through my design to unveil and express truths for the infusion of trust to become a strong foundation of all systems. Wow. I'm actually inspired to give the ball to Jolly to say something to that. Do you want to elaborate just a little bit?
Oh, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi. Thank you for hosting this, Lanie and Astrid, and having all of us come together. I kept feeling like this, actually what I was drawing was like, I was trying to draw like something that feels that it's unveiled, and suddenly it became the infinity sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when trust and truths are present, there's this infinite possibility that can be brought into form, and it's a very healing kind of energy when there's a foundation of trust. And I think that's the building block of lasting and loving and meaningful relationships in every aspect of humanity. So I feel like that's what I'd like to support and be a part of.
Thank you. And you already totally do that. I love that you elaborated. That was really powerful. Thank you.
I felt inspired to just also say about the trust piece, like I know we were kind of playing with creativity, and I hear some of you did drawings and saw images, and so it wasn't just about words, and how much that trust is foundational to the creative process and bringing our things into creation and all of those ideas. Like I alluded to Joanna as a magician, it's like we all have that magician in us, and as like a collective, we're being asked to bring that forward even stronger than before. So I love that Jolly got to speak to the trust. It's so foundational.
Yes, and I also love the soulful aspect that we're all bringing to the table here, that as we are present here. So I feel this is more and more happening on the planet of like this expansion of new leadership that is really very openly communicating, collaborative, co-creative, trust, and no more playing freaking games like like this is like old paradigms, like this is so unnecessary. All the magic comes from where we're at and what we're talking about right now. So I love that we all have you guys here, you ladies here in this space. So just a few more comments and then I feel we jump into the play prompts, Lanie. So I'm seeing that we have, let's see, Madeline said she had an image of catching fire as well and helping others voices catch
There's so much fire in the house. I love
yes, yes, and waves of intuition and a big grounded tree is what she saw. And then Val mentions that my clients fully embody their glow up as I do. Love all this fire and lit inspiration. Yep, yep, more fire, fire, fire. And Lewis, she drew an image of Wonder Woman. Yes, we are. I love the celebration energy in the house. And then Val said, infinity sign is our sign. That is awesome. Lisa Meisel says to be the role models for expanding consciousness in the entrepreneur industry, creating miracles and magical impact. Oh my
love
goodness.
that Lisa says that about role models. That was really a big inspiration for this call, is for us to all be walking our talk. So as it is that we're sharing live, right? Like we're doing this for ourselves. We're doing the creativity prompts. We're leaning into what we really want. We're leaning into our desires, so that everybody who's watching, whether they're parts of your tribe or other people, it's like you see us doing the thing. So it's not so much about us coming up and teaching through a lot of information and the things in the past, but it's like live in the moment, we are showing you how to do this for yourself. So I love the role model piece so much.
Yes, 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 yes.
Also that fire.
Yes, awesome. Amazing stuff. And for some reason, I'm feeling inspired to show my shoes again, which is really crazy. But talking about fire. Okay. All right. Like, let's roll with the play prompts, Lanie, right? Would you want to open your book? You have so many play prompts in there. What do you feel like? Or do you want to challenge me? Or go ahead.
I feel so, like, and I'm just going to go ahead and put voice to my mind because, you know, we talked about that earlier, the magical mind. Like last time we did a call, a little bit similar to this, it was so freaking perfect that I'm like, oh, wow, my mind, I'm catching my beliefs in the moment of like, I don't know if we can top that, but I'm ready. And I'm setting the intention that it's going to be equally magical. So let's do it. I'm feeling inspired to call on Donna, if you're willing, to share with me a way that you would like to play with the book. So it can be, you can choose a number, you can tell me to just keep flipping and eventually stop. Am I missing a third way to play with it? Yeah, I think that's good for now. A number, or I can just scroll and you say stop.
Okay, number 8.
I have an 8? How did that happen? Okay, here we go. That's a blank page. Very curious. I would be very interested to hear what a blank page means to you.
Oh, personally, the person that comes to mind is I get to design and create my own life. It's a blank slate. I could do it whatever I want, whatever I desire, whatever I can think of, whatever I believe, I can manifest. And I think that we all need to start to look at our lives as this ability to completely create and design it exactly the way we want it, and stop following the rules and stop following the old paradigms and just start with a blank page and seriously step into the life of your dreams, the life that you totally, soulfully want to live.
Love it. Love it. Anybody want to play? Want to pick a page or tell me to scroll until, yep, Val's up.
Oh, you unmute yourself. Okay.
I'm always up for a play.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to pick a number or do you want me to scroll until you say stop?
Scroll until I say stop.
Okay, tell me when.
Now. I got my decks here too.
It says tearing apart mandala. Create a circle. Can freehand or use a paper plate, etc. Gather other papers, such as construction paper, cards, old letters, journal pages, etc. Tear them into pieces. Arrange the pieces within the circle until your design is complete. You'll know when it feels done. Then lift your paper and jostle it with eyes closed. Move your hands however it feels good. Open your eyes and glue the pieces down in random. Journal this experience and notice what you like, don't like, and how it represents you or parts of your life. So curious what that brings up or relates or connects for you. How do you
I'm going to be so honest.
Of course.
I crack myself up because I'm an artist, right? And I guide people to through creativity, but I don't give people creative exercises. I just be creative and then magic happens. And so when you're like giving me an exercise, my throat started and chest started to go tight, and I started to get like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do it somebody else's way, right?
Yeah. I mean, I love mandalas and I love drawing. I think it was more about like the pieces of paper and stuff that I think that's where I started going, oh, I don't really want to do that. And then I was like, but I want to do something right now on the spot too. So,
well, no, I love that you bring that up, because the thing is, for those of us who are fully in our creative zone and creative genius, it's like, and the truth is that this book feels like a little, for lack of a better term, outdated to me. And the people in my sphere kind of know that I'm like, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. But it felt important to me to capture the last like 7 to 10 years of all the things that I had helped people who are not fully in their creative. Like some people are terrified to even start. So
absolutely.
I think it's a beautiful thing that you point out that's like, once there are times when it can be helpful to like be given a prompt as just a starting point. And then there are times where it's like, I don't need that because that feels so confining, and it's like all of us powerhouses on here. Everyone's on fire.
Yeah, and it's also illuminating to like your first reaction, like how you go to do creativity. I think it's really illuminating for me because I'm a Virgo and I like to complicate things. That's part of my so that was like, if you took everything out of the equation and just put it about me, it's hilarious because it's like that's my first response to a lot of things, like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna do it that way, so. And I love that you guys plan this event. You ladies plan the event so intuitively. That's why you were probably able to get me involved, because if you just sent me some list I had to sign up for and it was 3 weeks away or something, I probably wouldn't have been included. I like to do
you would have been
in the moment.
No.
Yeah. Well, I find, and this is like what we're doing here is, the more immersed we are in each thing we do, the more we actually come into what we're asking for, the more we reach our desires. And so much of the work that each one of us does is about saying, quit keeping 1 foot over there and 1 foot over there. We need to go ahead and jump all the way in the hot tub. So looking at our ways we respond to how we want to be creative and where we do want to do it or don't want to do it is so important to finding where the foot is in and where the foot is out and getting both feet in. So I love it. Thank you for inviting me.
I feel like we could talk about that for like, that's a whole other workshop.
Yeah.
That is where you find your truth and trust for self. Is finding your footing and deciding, nah, I'm putting both feet here And everything about it that doesn't work for that, let me invest in whatever brings me to put both feet right here again and again and again and again and again. And that's why I said full embodiment. To me, that's walking the walk, talking the talk. And when I do that, everything else ripples out from there. And that's the hardest thing for most of us to learn, because we can't believe that based on the old paradigm. We just can't believe that. And that's what this creative work does, and being in the moment. So that's what I got to say.
Val, thank you for sharing all that. I'm curious, Astrid, if anyone is on the watcher side, because I'm not sure how much I get to see of that, but I'm super curious if anybody's resonating with that, this idea of rules. And you can just type it in the chat, like anything that's coming up around like having rules and not having rules, and like breaking the paradigm versus feeling safe in some of that. So yes, please do.
Yeah, Lisa instantly responds, no rules. And I'm also all about that, the blank space. And thank you, Donna, for also saying that. I love that you started the conversation, Val, with like being a rebel right off the bat. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. This is perfect, because that's what leadership is all about, like being our own like magical selves. And that means like being true to what really works for us. Like that's how I roll personally also. Val says Virgo City, yes. So yeah, I love that. And yes, everybody, as you're listening, anything that inspires you, feel free to, as you're present with us, you can speak up and wave, or like we're really rolling with intuition here. There's no set rule. We don't work with super strict paradigms. And play with anything that inspires you, because it can be like words that catch you. Something might stand out. You may like the exercise of that Lanie prompted with the mandala. I actually did get inspired to just simply draw.
It's so fascinating that you're actually doing the thing, because that didn't even occur to my mind. Like I never even thought anybody.
You're hilarious.
I thought just talk about the thing.
Oh no, we're being creative. That's funny. That's what you called in. So here we are. Yeah. So I did that in a super easy way, and this is what called me. Like basically, I simply drew a circle, and I blindly picked two colors. That's how I personally roll. And I do a lot of intuitive art for me and for clients to find answers and get out of our head and find the heart answers, including leadership answers. And I had these two colors show up. White for me is actually, yeah, it's white, is the color of pure possibility for me, and kind of the bird's eye view. And then gold is a color of pure abundance, and they kind of showed up in a sort of a yin yang kind of energy. So abundance in this vortex, and then the bird's eye view is like keeping the bird's eye view. So that's my leadership inspiration mandala right there. And yeah, blank page again. Joanna says, yeah, for the white, perfect. I love it. So I also have my books here. I feel like anybody who wants to play, you can say like me or whatever, and then you can pick any book, or you can speak to. Okay, awesome, Melissa. We can also speak to things that we already passed. If you guys feel like you have something that really wants to come through, like feel free to also go back. Yes, Melissa. How would you like to play? Which book? Go ahead.
Oh, which book? Which I get a choice? Let me see. Can I see
the book? Yes. Okay, I can do a screen share. I have my books are digitally in the making right now, and I'm actually going to share my whole desktop to kind of blow you guys out of. Maybe that's too much though. Okay, this is the first one here. This is my book that's in the making, Stepping into Your Crown, which is it's the second book that I'm writing. Also, I've outgrown my first book, Permission to Sparkle Energetically. So that's the cover there, and we can play with this one. Or the other one is called Permission to Sparkle. And that would be the lighter version of like just stepping into the leadership and claiming that. So which one is calling you? And you can also be the one from Lanie as well, of course.
Oh, okay. Second one. The Permission to Sparkle.
Okay, cool. Let me pull that up. I'm going to share the screen with that. And do you have a page number that is calling you? And we have up to, let me double check how many pages we have. That's funny. There's way more pages than 100, and it's counting the pages down here because it's loading as we're speaking. 120, 26, so anything lower than,
35.
what's that?
35.
35? Okay, let me see. What is on page 35? Okay, here we are. And I'm just going to read what we see on the screen and throw that into the conversation, and so you can be curious. Melissa, what comes up for you, and all of you as you're watching as well. Like, you might have different words that pop out for you. So just be open and curious. It doesn't have to make sense in context. So, gem number 2, trusting the universe. When you have the pure trust into the universe, what does that mean? Why is that so special? That's a huge topic that you'll have to experience for yourself. Let me sum it up for now. You'll be free of worry and you'll just feel ease and peace. Compare sleepless nights of worry versus sleeping in peace and feeling good. That's how your whole life can feel worry-free. Compare frantically hustling in your days because you think you have, and then it stops. What's going up for you, Melissa, in regards to leadership and whatever pops out for you? How do you want to play with this?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about Val's mentioning that she's a Virgo. I wrote in the chat, I'm a Virgo too. And so what comes up for me is this idea of like having to be right? Or like the right or wrong thing. And so trusting in the universe means trusting in myself, means trusting in whatever happens, and that there is no right or wrong way. And I love that because that's the message that I share in the work that I do with people and relationships, and trusting that there is no right or wrong way to have a relationship. It's just doing it. It's showing up, making it happen. It can look like what we're doing now, literally drawing it out, intuition. And so, yeah, being a Virgo, sometimes I can get stuck in analyzing things, and this is just a reminder of like what constantly shows up in my own messages is show up, just show up and just play, and there is no right or wrong. Like, trust that whatever decision you make, it's gonna be. Yeah,
I love it. I feel inspired to ask you, Melissa, because you have this special background of non-monogamy and inspiring people to really claim things that are totally potentially controversial, out of the, like, it takes a lot of guts to really break out, and you're living that very strongly. So is there a tip that you want to give from your leadership experience to people? Like, what helped you step into that, or what was like a gem that you found for yourself to get over the fears that come up for that?
Just what I said now, just show up, just do it. So I actually commented in the Facebook, so you probably didn't see my comment, but I also did fire.
Oh,
and yeah, I also drew fire, and it's hot pink fire, and it's hot pink because I actually don't like the color pink. And so it just means like walking through the fire and just showing up. I mean, I don't know, there's no other way to do it than to just do it and to experience it, and trust in the universe, trust that it'll be okay, whatever that might look like. So that's just the piece that I've had. I've just had to, for me at first it was baby steps, like super tiny baby steps. And then after a while it was like, I just want to do it. Just want to jump off the cliff. And I think I remember mentioning to Lanie, like, can you just push me off the cliff? I just want to be pushed off the cliff. And she's like, until I just jumped off the cliff. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing
I
that.
love that you said that, Melissa, because I think deep down we all want to be pushed off the cliff. That's where we find our power. That's where we find our wings to fly. And yet there has to be our own willingness and decision, right? Like, that has to come from within. So I think that was so beautiful, but just putting it to words is so powerful, right? So even if it is that someone is saying that to me, Astrid, you said this at the beginning of the call, like just putting it into words is already activating it. So you were already bringing it into fruition just by saying
Right.
that. So I love that so much.
Right. Just the fact that I was on the cliff, like I was at the cliff and I was at the edge, you know, and it was nice to have somebody at the edge with me, but ultimately I needed to jump. So yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Lots of magic. Anybody want to jump on that comment and take a playing ping pong? Lisa, go ahead.
I just, for me, it's definitely being the role model. It's definitely showing up through my, with my experience, through my wisdom, and following my intuition, but always in a way that is joyful and in flow. And so in that, it's like that's the navigation, right? It's like if you're in joy and things are flowing, you're in where the trust comes in. It's like, this is it. This is right. This is right. This is the way I'm supposed to be going, is towards the joy. So I love that. Trust the universe.
I just got chill from the joy. Yes. Yes. Something that you said, Lisa, is really powerful. Go ahead.
To that too, though, because I think it's the yin yang, right? It's like sometimes jumping off the cliff does not feel like joy. And so I think it's both and game. There are times where it's actually the joy is going to be on the other side of the jumping, because I know for me, sometimes that action and that leap feels life or death. And luckily I've learned not to believe that life or death, right? And so then on the other side of the leaping, in the power, when we see that it didn't kill us, then there is the joy, right? That's I think the celebration piece that Astrid so much reminds me of. And then there's this cultivating that happens where, because of that leap and because of the celebration from that time, we can keep doing that again and again and again as we rewire that system. So yes. I love what you're saying, Lisa. And for those of you, I think sometimes there's that little nuance, and myself included, there might have been a time where I would have come to think that maybe I should feel joy before the leap, and that was not the case. So.
Well, I think, I mean, yes, great point. And I think that there's always going to be like, no, that's not it for me. No, that's not it for me. And just navigating towards what it is for you. And of course, there's going to be discomfort in some of those things, right? But it's always leading like towards what it is that you want, what is joyful for you.
Yeah. And I want to throw in a piece into that equation too. And Lanie, thank you for saying that it's not always easy, and that there's portals, and the joy comes once we embrace our fear and step through. Yes. I also experience that as we raise our frequency into joy and like come from the play energy, that actually makes us bolder and braver, and things feel more playful to jump into than if we're like, I'm scared, and like we downward spiral or whatever, like literally with our bodies are static. Then it takes a lot more effort to jump as opposed to when you're like, yeah, you're already dancing. So there's also that piece that I want to throw in. Yeah.
I think it's a muscle, right? The
yes.
The joy muscle, the trust muscle, it's all. And to Melissa's point, it helps. Like you can start with baby steps, and as you build the baby steps, there's more and more leaping, and then from leaping, there's like quantum flight. So you got to start, right?
Yes, super.
Cool. Could I share something about joy also? I really loved what Lisa and you're all sharing about it. Do we have a quick minute?
Yes, please go.
Oh, thank you. So as soon as you were all saying the word joy, the word that kept coming to my mind is alignment. And what is for our highest good, that's sort of how I think of alignment. And joy helps to activate and help us discern how to choose our next step forward. And it was reminding me of this really beautiful piece of calligraphy that my mom had next to her nightstand. And she would read this to me before I was going to school. If I had like It's actually from this really beautiful Persian philosopher. In 1911, he did this like world tour, and he stopped in Paris and gave like a series of talks. And one of the talks was about joy. And if I could just read the first two sentences.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So his name is Abdu'l Baha, and he talked about the power of joy and said, joy gives us wings. In times of joy, our strength is more vital, our intellect keener, and our understanding less clouded. We seem better able to cope with the world and to find our sphere of usefulness. And I thought, oh, that's such a cool reminder of like the power of discernment and following steps and seeing those clues of discernment for what is in our highest good. And joy helps to kind of be this like guidepost of supporting everyone's highest good, with this like alignment. And yeah, thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. It's so magical.
That makes me want to share something from that, in that it, like, so many of us haven't been able to experience joy when we get to this point that we are learning to be allowed to stay in joy. And you just gave it, like, this poem gives us permission to feel joy because we're of service. And I think, there's work to clear resistance to even being allowed to have joy. And once you clear that, then there is no work and need to be in service. You just are. So that's where the person now that doesn't understand joy can't understand how easy joy will be once you do the work of releasing allegiance to not being allowed to have joy. So that's what that little poem, the beautiful poem, says to me, that we're allowed to have joy. We have to be taught. We have to actually invest in our permission to have joy, and then we get to experience all this ease and flow and everything. Thank you. I just wanted to share.
Thank you. And yes, that's what my book is all about, permission to sparkle. Totally about that. And I find too that being in joy allows us to hear our intuition, because if we're not in joy, we actually don't hear it. We can get stuck in our mind. So I want to make sure that everybody gets a voice that is present with us. We have so many magicians here with us. Who wants to play next? And what book would you love to get a play prompt from? Whoever hasn't spoken yet. Go ahead, Joanna.
I will go with your newer book, the one that
The Queen book?
The Crown. I remember.
Cool. I have it right here, and I'm going to live share it. And I believe I have 100 pages there. Let me see. So far. Go, and you can give any number that pops out at you, or I can scroll and you can say stop, or what do you feel like doing, Joanna?
I'll go with number 26.
All right. Move that up. We're on 28. Okay. Almost where you said. Okay. So on this page, we have truth again. That's showing up in all kinds of ways today in the call. So here I wrote truth. I decree that everything I do to my best abilities based on my truth, not based on the perception of my current reality. Hang on, I want to quickly get rid of some background noise we have on the call here. Lanie, can you access that? Thank you. Okay. Not based on the perception of my current reality, nor on what I think I can or cannot do. I declare I am committed to my truth, to claim it, speak it, act from it boldly, no matter what happens around me. I also declare that I will be kind to myself when I get blinded by challenges, when I get weak and I don't know how, or when I don't see. I will simply assess and find back to my power, my truth, and I will come back. And I will come back to me. Always learning, always wiser, growing. Responsibility. I declare that my responsibility is not to others, nor to any obligations or any things, but my responsibility is first and foremost to me. Yo, what's coming up for you, Joanna? Some big stuff.
Well, first, the synchronicity that our first prompt, I responded, my desire for my own leadership is to speak truth in all areas of my life. So that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And go along with the theme of speaking truth, I just see it as a muscle. Like, I also am a Virgo and also can get stuck in my head or in analysis. And I've learned that it's about speaking what comes to me in the moment and trusting that I am speaking it for a reason, and that, again, I'm growing this knowing and this connection to truth in doing that, and taking responsibility for myself in that, and not worrying about, I don't want to say not worrying about the implications, but kind of like knowing that I'm speaking this, knowing where it's coming from, knowing my intentions behind it, and my intention behind it is to grow myself and hopefully others, but to really work that muscle, get clearer and clearer, and in speaking it, kind of let the truth ripple out to others and let them do the same.
Love it. Thank you, Joanna. And yes to synchronicity, right? always happens when we're open to seeing it. I love it. Awesome. So we are actually already at the hour, but I do want to hear from everybody through play prompts before we go to the share of all the magic that we have cooking up in the world. Lanie, who are we missing who hasn't spoken? Beth. I see Beth. I see Lewis. I think Madeline. Whoever who hasn't spoken yet, raise your hand who's inspired to play. And what book? Beth, go ahead.
Actually, I just want to make a comment on the last
Yes.
reading about truth. So what really resonated with me on that was to be kind to myself, which is always something I need to be reminded of. And also what was really touching is taking responsibility first, foremost for me, not others. So ironically, in high school, I was in a philosophy class, and we were tasked with writing a philosophical paper. It was 20 pages long. And my topic was, what is responsibility? And I remember that the instructor, his name was Jack Betterly, and the instructor of that class told me when I was in high school that this topic would resonate with me throughout my life. And it has been true. I mean, I have, not constantly, but certainly consistently throughout my life, questioned what is responsibility. And I love the line from Star Trek when totally geek myself out as a sci-fi person, but when Spock asks, when is the good of the one, when does the good of the one outweigh the good of the many? And I think that's sort of what that resonated with me, was that's a question that I ask. At what point do you take care of yourself first? And at what point are you giving to the world and the community that you're a part of? So those are the balancing acts in my mind. So anyway, I wanted to comment on that. Thank you.
Whoa. A lot of threads going off of that.
Yeah. And as Jack Betterly said, these will be threads that I'm dealing with for the rest of my life. So he was an amazing man. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago, but I remember him fondly, and I try to honor him. That course was obviously incredibly touching and thought-provoking. And here I am many years later, still resonating with that work.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Sure. I had a flash that I would love to go to Jolie's book, but I'm not sure she even has it in front of her and wants to play. But
I love it. I love the Sideway Rebels. Okay, that's perfect.
I'll ask her if she wants to play, and if not, I would.
Beth, I will always play with you. You are awesome.
Thank you.
I just didn't have like a good poker face. I was like, oh, right. So I saw myself like looking surprised in the
Yeah. So I would love to have you just flip through the book, and I'll say stop. So let me know when you have it in your hand. And
oh, okay.
Does that work for you?
Of course. So I have it on my computer, so I'll scroll. Is that okay?
So just scroll away.
Okay.
And let me know when you're scrolling.
I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling.
Okay, stop.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So this is a book called Nourished by Diversity, and each chapter pays homage to a leader slash hero slash mentor in my life who swooped in when I needed rescuing or saving or compassion or healing or kindness. And so this is one of the pages of the book that I talk about one of my mentors who was born in Ethiopia, and I had the great fortune of meeting when I was this college student in Philadelphia. So I'm talking about her. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? Sorry, I just read.
Yeah, just read whatever text is in front of you.
Oh, okay. So the backstory is I'm at her house for a weekend, helping her organize some of her files. She was a really amazing consultant and lived all over the world and traveled and worked with all kinds of organizations. And she was a diversity specialist, so she really wanted to help organizations know how to embrace diversity in very meaningful ways. My name is Becky Murphy, she tells the doorman, who did not recognize her. I live on the 19th floor in 19E. He looked at her and then looked at me and looked at her and looked at me and tried to figure out, were we together? What was going on? We didn't look like we belonged as friends. She said, "This is my assistant. She's a student. Could you please let us in? It's raining outside." The gentleman looks at us and she looks at me and somehow mysteriously transforms into a superhuman whose voice and suddenly her entire being becomes 10 feet tall. And suddenly he looks at her with a new set of eyes. I seem to vaporize into this very clear mist, and she suddenly becomes a rock star. He apologizes profusely and says, "This way, Miss Murphy. My apologies. I didn't mean to keep you waiting in the cold." She opens the door and nods at him. He grabs her bag, her purse, our groceries, opens the door, leads us to her apartment, and waits to make sure that we are safe. I look at her, and she's back to being a 4'10" regular human being who suddenly had metamorphosized back to a mere mortal. But I now saw her differently.
Oh my God, I love it. That's so freaking awesome.
I'm gonna cry, sorry. She's amazing.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so amazing. And you know what, again, keeping with sort of my sci-fi geekdom, I keep thinking, these are not the droids you seek, and just completely manipulating the mind about, like, you know, like, we get to pass. These are not the droids you seek to go, you know. You know what really resonates with me in this is we do all have superpowers and superhuman, and being able to, like, make ourselves 10 feet tall and ask for what we need and put ourselves out there.
Joanna sits up as you speak.
What was that? What was that?
Joanna was just sitting up as you were speaking. Make yourself 10 feet tall. I saw that.
No, and you know, the irony is I am not 4'10". I am actually 6 feet tall. So I am a tall person, and I know that there is a lot of sense of self from living in that space, being tall. I don't usually let people, you know, dominate me in many ways, you know, and in some ways when I wear heels, I can be kind of intimidating. So,
I love it.
But I also try to be very embracing and not play that role, except if you have somebody, like in this instance, that is just not responsive, that you can actually tap into that energy. And anybody, whether they're 4'10" or 6 feet tall, have that power. And I love that. I think that's what I really love, and that's resonating with me through the reading, is that we can transform and be exactly who we need tap into our superpowers in the moment to show up in the world as we need to. So,
Yes.
Jolly, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Did you want to add anything to that?
Oh gosh, I'm my heart's like very full just thinking about her again and getting to share her with you. And thank you for having me stop right on that page. I feel
Oh, thank you.
very grateful.
Because I know you weren't prepared to be pulled into the playland, so like in that way.
That's all right. That's all right. I like being spontaneous with awesome people. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just got a flash.
I'm just cracking up at that, like the this idea that we would need to, because it happened a little bit earlier too, like this idea of being prepared to play. And so I just want to remind us all that that's like our natural state and our birthright. the joy earlier, right? That when we're free of our mind and all of those programs that we've been instilled with, it's just here. Like we don't even have to think about it. It's as easy as, Shelley, what did you say? As easy as blinking?
As easy as blinking.
Right.
Yep.
Like sometimes breathing is not as easy, but blinking we definitely do automatically. So
yeah.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, Beth, for inviting me.
Thank you.
So
love
appreciate
it.
you.
So we have 2 more people /3, I believe. I see. I'm starting to rhyme again. Wee-hee. Okay, who wants to go next?
Did you say Pax? Didn't you say you were calling Pax to the?
Yes, I just want to make sure I don't overlook her because I saw her pop in again and I didn't mention her before. So I think we have Madeline and she's kind of waving, and then Lewis, I believe, and Pax.
And Astrid, I'm so sorry, but it's late and I have somebody dinging me and pinging me a lot, and so I've got to drop off. But thank you, everyone. This has just been so magical, and I look forward to the next play session.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Pax, and thanks for speaking truth. And yes, it's super late there. Good night.
I think it was
Bye, Pax.
No, that was Beth, I believe.
Oh, was it Beth? What?
Yeah, Pax is still with us.
Oh!
Bye, Beth.
I'm so confused right now. All right, on to whoever picks up the mic.
I'll go. I'll pick up the mic. Hey, I would love to hear from your Queen book.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited. Okay, and how do you want to play? Do you just want me to pick a number? You want to pick a number? Do you like me to scroll?
But 17.
17. Okay, let's see what happens there. And by the way, this book, it spoke to me in a visualization as I was speaking to it and asking it what it wanted to be and how it wants to show up in the world. And this is going to be a totally non-traditional book that actually only wants to be produced like in one single print for individual leaders who want to awaken their inner queen. So it will never be on Amazon. So this is an exclusive glimpse into this world of this queen book. So here's page 17, and I'm going to read from the top there. A dance pose, an intuitive drawing, 3 quick notes on a pad. You choose, integrate your learnings. This is out of context, so just be curious. 3. Then go live somewhere or in my group from that queen on fire energy. Another more fire for this call. Without expected results from others, unattached. This is for you. You will find more magic awareness as you show up powerfully. Bonus play prompt. Ask yourself, while going back to meditating within this Queen's Dare movie scene, what superpowers did you activate in yourself and now own as Queen on Fire? How did those superpowers help you create and claim this experience, this scene? What superpowers may you want to add to owning in this scene? Take a moment to journal, to ponder on your superpowers that you want to claim and are already experiencing here. And know and feel that you already have access to them right now, in this minute right now. Madeline.
Well, I love the Queen on Fire. And I think when I was doing my drawing earlier, I was doing this tree in the ground that was sort of whirling through the intuitive area and then bursting into flame. And I was remarking too, when we were listening to the fire before, listening to Lanie's reading before, and talking about the blank page, about how the fire can leave the blankness. You know, we sort of think about the fire and the burning time, but after the fire, what's left? And I was thinking about that when I was thinking about the Queen on Fire, because I think a lot of us have that. There's on fire, like girl on fire, and then there's like, oh my God, like broiling in the oil, kind of on fire, the two ways of being on fire. And so I was sort of feeling the coolness of the post-fire as you were reading, like what is left after the fire, after the flames go out.
Ooh, I love that angle. I didn't even think of that. Thank you for throwing that in.
Yeah.
I love how things showed up that we had in the conversation earlier. We had like the fire, and then there was other puzzle pieces like the superpowers, and then actually this page was a play prompt for everybody to really feel into. I really like that part that showed up in this call, to ask ourselves, what superpower do we want to claim as leaders? And it kind of loops back to the beginning question that we had at the beginning of the call. What do you desire in terms of leadership for yourself? So it's powerful journaling prompt that's coming
and
back.
I know in terms of time, I think we were kind of shooting for between 60 and 90.
Yes.
I'm feeling inspired to add another kind of play prompt here, aside from the books. Just want to check in with you and see how we're doing on time and space to share.
We're good. I do have another call at 1/2 hour. I could move it, but I would love to set the intention to wrap at 90 minutes, just for everybody's, to be mindful of everybody's time. And also I know the energy is like 90 minutes feels like good, like, but much longer feels like,
yeah,
too
I'm
fast
feeling
magic.
90 or less feels good. Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about like almost the tearing apart, or what's left after the fire, and then what we want to create and what our desires are. And so I'm curious to actually see what's in between, because we're talking about a few different spots kind of on the journey. So if you do have something to draw with, even if it's a pen or a pencil, but if you want to use colors, you can, to allow yourself to create a shape, color, symbol, object, whatever you're inspired to. Can be super simple. We don't have to take long with this, to represent where you are currently. So that may be something that you've already created. And then also something to represent that space that you're headed toward, that space that you really wanted to take away from this call. And let there be a little bit of space in between so that it can be a bridge. And once you have the bridge, just notice what's between where you're at versus where you want to be.
Nice.
And we don't need to take too long, maybe a couple minutes, and just be a quick rendering.
I love it. And I want to give, once we're done with that play prompt, I want to give the mic to whoever hasn't spoken yet to use that space to share. And everybody can always use the chat, and as you're watching live, post in the comments or in the replay also.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm feeling called to let the people that have not shared first. So Lewis.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. Thank you for that, Lanie. And to be mindful of time, I also want to already invite all the leaders here on the call, as you are done with the exercise, to start posting in the chat whatever magical things you're creating in the world right now, in a short blurb or a link or website, and we will mention it before we close the call, but no rush. There's enough space. Louis, you look like you're wrapped up. Do you want to start speaking, as we haven't heard from you yet?
Sure. That's actually what I drew, which was the current symbol for me this year is the heart with the spiral, and then it expands into that heart expansion of joy and happiness and abundance. And I also just wanted to say that I really love that analogy of how it started coming out about the superpowers, right? Wonder Woman superpower. When I did intuitive art class with the kids, I had them do half of a self-portrait, and then they got to create whatever they wanted to on the other side of the portrait that was their superpower, and imagine
Nice.
be anything they wanted to be. And I mean, I think it's even a great exercise for the adults, right?
Yes.
Because it allows them to just imagine anything that they would, there's all possibilities. And I love the information from Dolly's book. That was so right on, about how we can just stand in our power, and we don't have to do it, in a aggressive way. We just put it out there and be, just be and own it. Yeah, I love that. And as you know, I'm creating spirit guide cards and journals. And if anybody wants to pick a number between 1 and 44, they can just put it in the chat, and then I'll respond to that.
I love that.
Maybe not right here now, but I'll tell them which one it was.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Tag Louis Warnock as you're catching this now, or a replay, and that's so much magic. Woo! Thanks for that gift.
Cool.
And here's your exercise. I love your exercise. I did the before and after draft as a visual. Face before superpowers, now and after superpowers. That's super fun. Awesome. Cool. Our clock is ticking. Thank you, Louis, for sharing. And Pax, I'm curious if you also want to play real quick. You can pick any page number, and I feel like throwing the ball to Lanie and your magical book with your play prompts of Be Solid Gold. Do you want to pick a number, Pax? Or how do you want to play? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let's go with 17, or did we have that already?
No, you said 17?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go to my electronic version, because this is the Raw Messy revised one. And it's a little hard to read. So, here we go. And I'm going to skip the screen share for the sake of time. 17. All right, it says, let's do it. So it was decided as a team. That's me and all the inner parts. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it in a way that feels good and playful and rooted in a foundation of self-care, love, compassion, pleasure, and my commitment to celebrating life. In fact, this book will be a playground to consider the whole self and the many parts of me responsible for keeping me safe, healthy, and fulfilled. After decades of ignoring needs and desires while primarily listening to the inner critic and the judge. I'm going to stop there and see how that resonates for Pax, which I know it does because I know Pax.
Yeah, I have been having a big party with my saboteur lately, so What do I do with that now?
Just share how it resonates, what that lands for you, what it brings up, any insights or resonance.
And you can take it from the angle of leadership
The first
acts. Go ahead.
The first sentence really spoke to me. Let's do it, because I've been in this space of just waiting around for what feels like forever, and time to stop that shit.
I like it. Short and sweet and powerful. It's kind of like Melissa was saying earlier. She just did it and jumped. Yeah. Awesome.
And I think we can all relate to that. And we've all
Yes.
been there at some point or other. And yes, it feels much better on the other side than sitting in the tension and the waiting and the
Yes.
thinking and the analyzing and the trying to get it perfect before we do it.
Yes. And I love that we're role modeling this here, like how fast we put this all together and how unscripted with a super basic framework, simply following the intuition, following the call, and jumping in there and trusting the unknown. And so take it and roll with it, Pax. Yes, we can't wait to see what you're putting out there. Totally hear you. So I want to roll over to the last section of the call then. Lanie, I didn't miss anybody. Is that right? We considered everybody, just making sure that I'm not, and people are, yeah? Okay. So in this last short moment of the call, I want to share briefly what Lanie and I have cooking, and I will also acknowledge what everybody here has cooking. And we will share the website links also in the YouTube replay, and you can click through to all the leaders, whoever you resonated with, to learn more about. Check them out. Everybody here is magical. We all have superpowers. So what I have cooking, I'm going to start real quick with a screen share. I'm so excited to have that ready to excite you all to step more into your joy and to go deeper with this frequency and to claim more of your leadership. So I have something that has the doors open right now and actually has a few more spots left for leaders who are ready to step into that leadership. It is something super innovative that came to me as I was in the energy of joy and following my intuition. I'm hosting an online cruise. Yes, that makes no fucking sense, but I'm doing it. And it's happening next week. And I have the website here. It's basically, you can come to my website, astridmueller.com, to see more. It's going to be for 5 days where you get to, with 5 leaders, each leader gets a workshop day to host an online workshop. And there's going to be deck parties. There's going to be lives. Everybody who joins on the cruise ship with me will get an opportunity of exposure. I have more details on the website here with a quick, easy video. Each day feels like a party. We have first people on the board here. Louise Warnock is one of them. Super excited to have her there next week. She's going to host super magical spirit guide awakening sessions, and you get to find out more. If you click through, I have just had somebody sign on earlier with me as well. She will work with dance. That's super exciting. I have 3 more spots left here and they're going quick. So any of you who feels inspired to be a leader, or if you know somebody, have them message me. And I have a fire sale coming up actually, where the already really low ticket prices for the middle deck to attend all the workshops and to go live and get exposure, all of that will actually be super steal of a price in a fire sale. More fire on the call for the next 2 days or so. So sign up, just sign up here if you're curious, or message me for more details. So that's my quick share. Lanie, what do you have coming up before we give the word to everybody? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I wanted to speak to the thing that it's actually something that Astrid and I are doing along with 2 other powerhouses, and it starts May 11th. So you'll probably see invitations coming your way for an abundance immersion. So it'll be 5 days, 4 leaders, and lots of more magic and gems in that. I'll keep it brief for our sake of time so that you can share some of the others. But I did post the link to the chat, and I'm starting to go through those requests now. So I'll open the doors early for a pre-party probably in the next week.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Lanie. And yes, to more magic coming with us. I'm already excited. All the goodness is happening. So I'm going to run through a few comments that I have here for the sake of time to stay on the minute probably, or close to it. And again, like, follow the links for other people to see more of what they have cooking up. Let me see. So we have, who do we have here? Lisa Meisels mentions they have a Magnetize Your Dream Clients quiz that is going on. That sounds really exciting. And on a bit.ly link, Magnetize Clients Quiz. Super fun. Melissa says, okay, you're not actually sharing something right now. There was a comment. Louis Warnock is louiswarnock.com.
Yeah, and just while you're looking for that, I think Melissa was saying that if you have questions about non-monogamy or any kind of relationship, you can find her on Instagram, Shades of Monogamy.
Thank you. Thank you, Lanie, for catching that. That is awesome. Lanie shared the link in the chat that we will share also. Madeline Eno said, if you're curious to chat about your book idea, you can book intuitive book mapping sessions at In the Right Place, like not right, but like writing, in the right place.com. Going down, Jale, her website is leadyourdesign.com. She's all about leadership and has an amazing leadership assessment quiz, which I actually took on. Totally gave me so much. I ended up booking Jale afterward to expand on that. Let's see who else. Lisa Meisels posts manifestmagicandmiracles.com to find more magic there. Joannahanneman.com. And she does one-on-one experience where you can tap into your innate wisdom to heal your physical self through deep energetic work. Val, I didn't see a link from you, but I know Val, did I say it? Val, I did say it. Oh, Valtopia.com. Thank you. I found it. And she says, yes, she helps her clients 3 to 7 times their investments within days profoundly shift into deep trust through the deep work you guys do together. So it's about raising your income, raising your power. So much magic on the table here with everybody. I think I covered everybody. If we missed anybody, feel free to message us. We will post it with the video, anything, your website, all the goodness. Look for us online. Ask any questions in the chats wherever you saw the video. And I want to open the mic for any last questions or comments or celebrations of what you took away from this call. Thank you, Val, so much for being here, and everybody. Does anybody have a last thing that you want to say to feel complete, that you're taking away from this call for yourself, or anything you particularly enjoyed? Go ahead, Lanie.
Well, I was going to say, in honor of the time, I feel inspired to have everyone say at least one word as their takeaway. And
I love that.
Unmute yourself and say it, and we'll all go out with a bang and wish you well for the day.
That is amazing. I love it. Okay. Unmute. Ready, set.
Inspired.
Lit.
Possibility.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Yeah.
Much love.
Thank you so much.
Conquer the planet, everyone. Bye-bye.